Hi guys, it's a bit early for Fool of the Week, but Charlie Mullins, who owns a plumbing company based in London, even though he's a migrant in Spain, was called out on lies and racism by Jonathan Portes, an economist, when both of them appeared on this GB News show. Now, they were discussing Donald Trump's plan to impose stricter visa conditions on workers coming in from abroad, and this is something that Charlie supports. Although there is a little bit of irony here, and it involves Reform UK. Have a listen.
Charlie, we have a lot of young British people sort of like not working at the moment, the benefits bill ballooning. Do you think this could possibly work in the UK? Brit jobs for Brit workers?
A great idea. Totally disagree with this chap. We need to be training our own workers rather than importing skilled workers. Absolutely brilliant idea. It will stop a lot of the rubbish coming over here. And you got
rubbish. It will stop a lot of the rubbish coming over here. So he's describing economic migrants as rubbish, while he's probably sitting in Spain as a migrant. Well, what does Charlie Mullins describe himself as when he's living? Oh, no, he doesn't use the word migrant. He would use the word expat, of course.
You've got to remember also that when one of them may come over, they bring another 8 or 10 of them that are claiming on benefits. So,
okay. People are not able to claim benefits, and they're not bringing 8 or 10 or 8 or whatever, 7 or 8 people with them. They're not doing that. There's no evidence to back up that claim. Now, some people are bringing their families with them when they apply, but this is a result of Brexit. Now, Charlie Mullins was not a supporter of Brexit. He believed it was a bad idea, but now he seems to support Brexit because he supports Nigel Farage and reform.
It's a win-win-win situation. I think what a great idea to come up with, and it will now make us sort of train our own people, which we used to do years ago. Get back to that policy, but the way this chap has just said it, I totally disagree with him. It's the immigrants and the migrants that are ruining the country, and yes, there is enough jobs over.
Are British migrants ruining Spain? That would be a question I'd like to ask Charlie Mullins.
We just need to make them more beneficial and train more people.
I think it's unfortunate that Mr. Mullins should both use explicitly racist language, like calling immigrants rubbish. And in particular, let me finish, please. I think it's most unfortunate that he should use explicitly racist language like rubbish, and in particular to tell racist lies, like claiming that immigrants can bring 8 or 10 people who claim benefits. That's simply not true. That is not how the immigration system works. It's not how the law works. And it's most unfortunate that somebody who really ought to know better, who has a position of responsibility, should be coming on the media and, frankly, lying to your viewers. I can assure you, I've been working on immigration system and immigration policy for 20 years. People do not come here to work and then bring 8 or 10 people who claim benefits. That just isn't how it works. You can't come here to work and claim benefits.
There you have it. Now, the irony, of course, is, Charlie Mullins supports Reform UK, a huge supporter of Nigel Farage, and he keeps talking about how we need to train up our own people. We need to stop bringing in rubbish from abroad. We need to train up British people. But there's a problem with that. And this is from ITV. It says here, Reform Councillor closes 5 Derbyshire adult education centres without consultation. So Reform UK are saying we need to train up our own and then closing adult education centres. So you're stopping our own from being trained up to do jobs, while at the same time complaining about rubbish coming in. What Reform are doing are when they close these centres or they cut support for ordinary people, they don't care about the poorest in society. How often do I have to say this before people realize it? They're a party of the rich for the rich. They want to reduce the size of the state. They want to cut public services in order to benefit the richest in society, because the richest in society don't need adult education centres. They don't need the NHS. They don't need the welfare state. They don't care about these things. They see it as a problem. My taxes are going to fund people and I don't benefit from that. It goes to fund a public service that I don't benefit, I don't need. It's a party that I can guarantee you, when they get into power, and let's hope that doesn't happen, but if they get into power, I should say, they will cut the welfare state. They will impose austerity, and they don't care about the consequences because they're there to protect and facilitate the richest in society. Charlie Mullins, if he was honest, if he read this, he would be up in arms over it. But he doesn't care. It's not about training up our own. It's just about punishing asylum seekers, refugees, and migrants. The racism was on display here, calling people trash, people coming over to do jobs that Charlie Mullins wouldn't do himself. Would Charlie Mullins work in a care centre? Of course he wouldn't. Would he work in a restaurant? Of course he wouldn't. Would he work in the NHS? Of course he wouldn't. And he's living abroad. He's living in Spain as a migrant, as an expat. And he doesn't see the irony of that. He's benefiting from a welfare state or a social safety net, an economic system in another country as a migrant. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.